Hello everybody, it is time for our second round of 8. It is second round of 8 series. It's going to be Soulkey versus Bisu. Of course, we're going to get an interview with the players first and hear their thoughts on today's particular matchup. Oh, first we got the casters, but the interview's coming. Well, Scan, what do you think about today's matchup?
Well, like I said from yesterday, it is going to be a spear versus a spear matchup. I mean, both of the player plays very aggressive. I mean, Soulkey also can play defensive play stuff, but the most of the time when I have watched his Pro League or Spawn match, Zero versus Protoss matchup, he often plays like a Hydra Lurker contain and then slowly transitioning into a Hive Tech. It's kind of like between like a defensive style and an offensive style, like in the middle, how he plays. So he does somewhat have that play style where Queen really loves of a 7 hatchery, 8 hatchery, like a pure Hydra Lurker only with the +2 weapon upgrade of a Hydralus, and then constantly pressuring the opponent and not giving Protoss to take the 3rd expansion. And I wonder how Bisu will be breaking it through and have a chance of taking the 3rd expansion later on.
You know, I was reading a lot of comments on Team Liquid, and they're saying that Bisu's in top form, and actually they linked a close game today. They linked a close game recently between Bisu and Soulkey. In the past few seasons, it didn't seem like Bisu was in his tip-top form, but maybe this could be the season. So this should be a close series. I agree with your assessment on Soulkey. I think maybe he goes for that kind of in-between style, just tries to evaluate where he stands, and if he has to play defensive, it gives him the option to play defensive, and if he can go for the killing move, maybe he goes for the killing move. But let's get our players' thoughts.
나의 레벨은 다르다 어나더 레벨 하식스와 함께하는
ASL Season14 Ro.8 Match 2.
안녕하세요 이영경입니다.
And also sponsored by Hot
첫
6.
번째 경기 김지성 선수가
Yesterday we have watched the best of 5 series against those two play Royal versus Shine. Royal showed amazing game with the mine game and also somewhat standard and somewhat not non-standard build and taking down Shine 3-0 against the backup build. But we are also here with these two players. That is going to be Bisu and Soulkey. How are you guys doing? And after that round of 16 group stage was over, she was doing the group draw for the round of 8. And she's asking, she saw Bisu's expression on stream or offline studio, saying something about he is not comfortable playing against her. And how do you feel today? And Bisu is saying that he kinda didn't want to play against Zerg on the round of 8. And he knows Soulkey is really strong. While he was practicing and preparing of this round of 8 best of 5 series match, he knows Soulkey is really strong as a Protoss matchup, and he's somewhat not sure, he's unsure with this concept or with his mind game and his play style against Soulkey, but he would like to try it out. And Soulkey, how are you doing? And Bisu is saying he's not feeling comfortable to play against you, but we also know that Bisu is one of the top Protoss player who's really good at PvZ. What do you think about today's match? He agrees with the opinion, but he's still not sure. He would like to try it out. He seems he does not like to spoil any of his feeling.
근데 그때 당시에는 민철이가 좀 못했다고 생각했어요. 그래서 제가 이긴 게
So
있는 것
Bisu, she asked about the previous seasons where Bisu played against Soulkey and Bisu won against Soulkey, I believe. And Bisu can't really remember, but he thinks Soulkey was not in form, top form that time, and took him down. But it's already 2022, so he thinks he has to agree that he's one of the top Zerg that who's really good at against playing against Protoss.
워낙 좋기 때문에 또 4강 진출을
Soulkey also doesn't remember that he got eliminated by Bisu,
이번 시즌 여기서 8강이 제일 힘든
but he'll try his best.
이번 시즌 8강만 이번에
Soulkey thinks this is going to be his toughest match of this ASL Season 14 in the round of 8. But once he wins this best of 5 of this round of 8 match, then he's going to be feeling comfortable to play in the next round. Bisu, what's your prediction of this best of 5 series? And Bisu answers 3-0.
승리요.
후반까지 가지 않겠다라는
Bisu is not thinking of going into any type of like a long game series. He wants to go for a short game, 3-0. And Soulkey also answered. He's expecting it is going to be a 3-0 match. He hasn't prepared any of. He did prepare somewhat, but he didn't really prepare for the game number 4 and game number 5.
대회에 나올 때마다
Any last word? Every time, whenever he gets to play on an offline match, he always prepare as the last match, last game for him. He will try his best, like always, and show a great performance today.
저도 뭐 항상
And Soulkey,
대회 나올 때마다 느끼는 거지만 이번 시즌은 다르다라는 생각을 항상
every time, whenever he gets to play on an
진짜 이번
offline
시즌은 다른 것
match,
같아요. 오늘 좀 확실히
he always
보여주기로
feels
하지만
something new. And feels something different, that he feels like he's gonna go up higher, and he'll try his best to make it into round of 4. And thank you for the interview. This is going to be the round of 8 match 2, Bisu versus Soulkey. We are going to be figuring out who's gonna be making it into semifinal. That is going to be versus Royal for the next round.
Yep, thank you, Scan. And I was looking up on Soulkey's Liquipedia. It was actually in Season 3 that Bisu eliminated Soulkey. So it's been a long time, so it's no surprise that both players have forgotten that series. But it is funny, it sounded like Bisu was not that confident, but then all of a sudden he's pulling out that he's going to win 3-0. I don't know about that, because Soulkey's a really strong opponent.
We're also taking a look at this round of 8 match too. The main key point that this is 7 times make it into round of 8 for Bisu, and he has been showing these online statistics information. 33 wins and 24 losses, about 58% win rate against Zerg matchup on September. And the recent best of 5 series that he played, he won 3 games and 3 losses. So not too bad, I would say. But we're also here taking a look at those top 4 PVZ and ZVP record. Bisu has the highest win rate, 62% win. And for Soulkey,
up there at the...
And for Soulkey,
yeah.
Would you like to take a turn?
No, my bad. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I needed to take a breath there. So anyway, Soulkey also has one of the top 4 list with the 59% win rate. And this is going to be their 2 matches. They haven't played each other on offline studio for 1,934 days long. And it's going to be an exciting game. So that's about like a 5 to 6 years. And Bisu has been showing such a great performance in an online and also offline match. Really be making it into top 4 seeded player once again. And Soulkey recently he got improved. He has improved in the ZVZ matchup and survived in that round of 16 group stage. And now he's here to play of this best of 5 series.
Yeah, well, it's nice that we're going to have pretty much the best PVZer going up against one of the best Zerg versus Protoss players. You know, Bisu is well known to be the top Protoss versus Zerg player a long time ago, but I gotta be honest, I am surprised to see that Mini was not all the way at the top because he's just been such a killer lately. 62% win rate versus Zerg. I'm looking at his versus Terran win rate in case he does end up facing Royal tomorrow. That's really high too, and I know for a long time his Protoss versus Terran, in my opinion, for a long time was his weakest matchup. So this guy, if he wins today, he could put on a good show versus Royal. and Royal dominated yesterday. So Royal's looking like he's in top form. And meanwhile, we talked about it. We've got Soulkey with the 59% win rate, pretty much 50% across the board for him. And as you mentioned, also he's overcoming his nemesis matchup, Zerg versus Zerg. Look at it; it's almost 50% win rate now.
Both of the players have more than 55% win rate here, and Soulkey. One of the memorable game that I can think of from the previous season, that was probably Soulkey versus Sins, where he was doing completely defensive style and just taking 4 base and to a super fast hive tech, and then just start macroing really hard. And once he starts to hit the supply count about 160ish or 170ish, and he just endlessly doing the Zerg rush and then crushed Sins that time. I wonder if he's going to be doing the same playstyle here. And it looks like Zealot and some other students from NSU. Soulkey is an NSU team, and they are all here to root for Soulkey.
Yeah, but I saw that Take Sheen sign. There's definitely some Bisu supporters, and there's another Bisu supporter right there. But we saw the maps, and I mentioned it yesterday. Allegro and Arkanoid have already been vetoed. So what do you think about the maps for Bisu? Because it feels like those were both anti-Protoss maps, and now that they're gone, I guess I could see him winning 3-0 simply because he's got a good map pool.
Yeah, also, since Bisu got out of the group stage on the round of 16 as a first player, so he does get to choose the first map. First map and the third map is chosen by Bisu, so he does have somewhat of a map advantage. And Soulkey is the one choosing the map for the second and the fourth map, but I'm not sure how well he has prepared. And he seems really confident that he's going to be making it through 3-0 today. And some other fans came from along the other city, really far distance, and taking the train. And yeah, another Bisu supporter, he wants to get an autograph from him.
Who doesn't, right? Especially if he got one of those ASL jackets. That would be so sick if he has that, and then he can get it autographed by someone like Bisu. And looks like we're about to start. First map is going to be Butter, a 2-player map. Saw a lot in BSL. I realize BSL is nothing like ASL, but in BSL, lots of proxies, lots of cannon rushes. Do you think that's something that we could see from Bisu? Do you see cannon rushes on Butter?
Well, Butter, I guess the cannon rush is still possible. I mean, he did against Soma in the previous season, and Soma, unfortunately, I believe he lost the hatchery, and that was somewhat one-sided game, I believe, that Bisu take the advantage in early game. And I believe Soulkey is the type of player who does not like to deal against the cannon rush, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be taking any greedy playstyle like a 12 hatchery opening in a 2-player map.
Yeah, we talked about it in previous casts. We've seen all the Zerg players go for this, what was weird at the time, overpool 130 gas. Our players are ready though, so let's get into game 1. Okay, in the bottom right position are yellow Protoss. It is Bisu. And in the top right are red Zerg. It is Soulkey. And I do just want to see if we're going to have that 130 extractor like we've seen almost every single game this season with the overpool. A few seasons ago, a couple of my friends were mentioning to me Soulkey that he loved to play this like 2-hatch style low eco play. So it wouldn't surprise me really at all if we see that overpool into gas, which is obviously low eco, because I know for a fact that he's familiar with it.
And we are seeing Bisu about to place down the pylon under the egg, so I guess that is going to... Yeah, that seems like the left side for the forge and the right side for the gateway SimCity. So yeah, Bisu is not going to be doing the pylon scout, and whenever we see no pylon scout from Protoss, of course the gateway opening. And we also have to be taking a look at here whether Bisu will be going for the 9 gate or a 10 gate. And this is going to be a 10 gate, so somewhat standard.
Yeah, we get a look at the match history,
never
recent
mind.
games. Oh, okay, Forge on the left, and there's the overpool. And we're approaching the point where we would see that gas if he's going to go for gas, but I don't see a drone up there. So for the first time in quite a long time, we're going to just see what I would say is a normal-ish opener. Drone's going to be coming down, but I'm sure that Probe is going to block and force this drone to build a hatchery somewhere else.
And now Soulkey needs to hide one of the drone, whether he's going to be deciding to take an expansion at the 11 o'clock side or 12 o'clock, the natural. And I like Bisu's mind game here because he knows he's one of the top products who's really good at the cannon rush against Zerg, and he does take down lots of Zerg with the cannon rush all the time. And also, since he hasn't done the pylon scout, Soulkey is going to be expecting this is going to be something like a gateway scout from how he has done with the scout, the scouting timing when he arrived at this natural. And yeah, he's just gonna be playing somewhat defensive play style. Not gonna be making so much of a Zergling to pressure against the opponent. So 2 drone, 2 Zergling, and not making the hatchery and then taking an extractor first. So I am expecting this is going to be a super fast lair tech.
Yeah, more than likely going to be there. And it is funny how just a slight probe timing can tell you whether it's Forge or Gateway. This time around, it seems like it was a bit of a mind game to see if Soulkey would over-respond with Lings for a Zealot that's not coming. I was watching his larva the whole time. He had it there. He could use it, but he ended up only building 2 Lings, so it was a nice hold of the larva to go for drones instead, since obviously we know Zealot not moving out on the map. And behind this, nothing really unusual at all, because that's just a Nexus. Gateway completes. Cybernetics is about to start from Bisu in just a second. There it is. And we do have 3 hatch with the gas, and there is the lair. So far, no Hydrogen like we've seen in a lot of the series.
Yeah, both of the players are having taking off really fast, and I saw Bisu was putting on the Cybernetics core before the simulator gets complete. And also, Soulkey started his lair tech timing at the 3-minute 27 seconds, which is somewhat a little bit off compared to the standard lair timing. So he's just trying to get that Spartak as soon as possible to probably scare Bisu off with the... And probably not going to be letting Bisu to scout at all with the Corsair. And we are seeing Bisu sending out a 1 single Zeta, and he did cancel the lair tech.
He canceled it, and he's going for the Hydrogen. So we've got a huge mind game. Now, it is critical that the Zerglings do not let this probe in, because if the probe gets in, then Bisu's going to be able to respond to this easily. And the probe died, which means that the Zealot's definitely not going to be feeling comfortable moving across the map. So Bisu, he's completely in the dark. His spidey senses need to be tingling, otherwise he may get busted, because right now there is just a single cannon, and we know that the Sair is definitely not going to help him versus the Hydras, so he needs to be very careful.
Well, I guess Soulkey missed that this Zealot. I mean, there's supposed to be a Zealot standing at the natural, but he does not get to see it. Oh, never mind, the metabolic boost is also finished, so now this is going to be a confusing for Bisu. I mean, once that first Zealot arrives to the 3rd expansion, and Bisu will be thinking, oh, you have the Zergling speed on standard timing, so this is not going to be a 973. And he also has 7 drones at the 3rd expansion, so this is going to be a confusing moment for Bisu to figure out whether this is Hydraless opening or the Spartak on the way. And that's a really nice spot. And also that can actually hit 3 Zergling surface area.
Oh, he has no idea. I love it, man. There was a game in KSL a long time ago. It was Soulkey versus some Terran. I forget exactly who it was. I think it was Sharp, actually, where the Terran scanned the natural, saw there were no drones, similar to what Bisu saw, where he sees top left has so many drones, he thinks Zerg's powering. But Terran thought there was Zerg was all inning, and actually Zerg was powering like crazy. So Bisu thinks it's a macro game. Not the case. We've already got 5 Hydras. You could be thinking, where the hell did these come from? But he's on his doorstep. Lings are getting on top of the cannon. The Zealots were so slow to react, and this game might already be over.
A very, very sharp move from Soulkey, taking it down, all those photon cannon. And I have a feeling Bisu figured out this has to be the 973, the pretty much like a 3 hatchery opening build. But oh my god, that sneaky 3 Zerglings are just doing the work and slowly taking out the photon cannon. And Bisu is in trouble. I think he read the game, because normally you're supposed to be sending out the Coulter directly to the opponent's base, but he was taking down the Overlord.
Yeah, thinking back to this game, Bisu may be wondering, like, why did this guy just leave me 2 Overlords for free right outside of my natural? That's a bit weird, but like you said, because he just went for the Overlord, it cost him right there. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure if it would have made a difference, because I don't know when the Sarah would have gotten there, and the cannon response still would have been late. But regardless, that was a really, really slick move from Soulkey. And now Bisu, he's got to be careful, because he had full intel for a long time, and as soon as the probe leaves, it just turned into a complete all-in.
Yeah, I think Bisu probably wanted. I think he read the game correctly, but he knows he can't really do anything when he scouts to the opponent anyway. So I guess he really wanted to cut off all those double Overlord at one on the left and one on the right, and then just get the DT out as soon as possible to push those Hydralisks away. Maybe that can be the one of the purpose of where how he wanted to play, but I guess one cannon was just somewhat too greedy. Maybe if he had a second cannon up, and maybe if he had a second cannon, second cannon up, then maybe it might have been a different story. But a single cannon against the number of Hydralisks where he has, it's too much.
Yeah, it's just too much. Also, the Goon. I mean, the Goon, I see it used a lot on maps where you can actually catch the Overlord. Players like OUG like to use it, but you could see that Overlord's just sitting in the gap right there, can't be caught by the Goon. So not sure exactly what his intention was for that Goon, because that's an expensive unit, right? It costs gas, get 32 seconds in the gateway, which could almost be 2 Zealots. Ended up not really helping him at all. But Soulkey starts off 1-0 in what I thought was a good map pool for a Bisu. Now he's all of a sudden down 0-1. Next map is going to be another standard map, so both players can be fine with this. But we're going to be going into a break in just a second, and then we'll come back with Game 2. right, we are back. I think we're going to be going into game 2 right now instead of like a Hot 6 commercial. But our next map is going to be Vermeer. You know, I was looking during the break at the map statistics of Vermeer last season. It was quite close, 5-4 statistics, so slightly in favor of Zerg. Originally, I thought it was a Protoss map, but I think it's just because I was remembering Rain dominate that map so hard in his big run to the finals. So this is pretty balanced. It's Soulkey's pick, and he had a really cool game versus Mong. Of course, a different matchup, Zerg versus Terran last season, so he must be feeling comfortable on this.
Yeah, even if the status information shows us somewhat the Vermeer matchup PVZ record is somewhat even, but I personally think it's really hard once Zerg starts to do the content like how Gamma was doing and Soma was doing in Snow, then it's gonna be a tough moment there. But we are going into game number 2, Bisu versus Soulkey on Vermeer.
So in the top left, down 0-1, it is Bisu, and in the bottom right, up 1-0 after a sneaky Hydra bust, it is Soulkey. Now we were talking about how Soulkey can play all types of styles. He can play the defensive style. This is the map where he could put down the hatchery at one of the other naturals and go for a split map, and potentially try and go into 4 bases. But you were telling me that Snow has a sick Reaver timing. Is Bisu somebody that's got a sick Reaver timing? Is that in his arsenal, or is that just a Snow move these days?
Well, I think it's just a Snow's move, in my opinion. But Bisu, he's the type of guy who, once he has about 3 or 4 bases, probably about 4 bases, then he will be start doing the robotic support bay and get the speed shuttle and the storm drop, like how a lot of fastest players do. And he likes to harass in the map where you can split the map in half, like a 4 base, 5 base, and then you just have to be constantly harass your opponent, and you can pretty much slow down the endless of the Zerg rush. And we are seeing the gateway being placed down.
Yep, this time around it is going to be the gateway from Bisu, and as you mentioned, the shuttle play is almost mandatory to face off versus Zerg because their macro is so ridiculous, especially if you're telling me players like Soulkey are going to go into something like 7 or 8 hatches. If you're not harassing them, I don't know how you can ever stop the onslaught that is Zerg. And we do have a hatch first opener from Soulkey, but it's not a 12 hatch, it is just going to be an 11 hatch. And with it being cross spawn, that's going to buy him even more time to deal with that Zealot.
So I see Soulkey is playing standard. He wants to play safe. Instead of going for 12 hatchery, he has gone for 11 hatchery into the 10 pull. He was also checking out the natural there, whether there was a photon cannon or whatnot. And now he's doing the drone scout all the way to 1 o'clock. Drone and Pro will be facing each other, and now Bisu will be figuring out, oh hey, this has to be a hatchery opening first, and he's gonna be Bisu directly sending the Zealot across the map. Probe comes. Will he be hiding on behind of the mineral line? Probably not.
Yep, and I can see that there's a lot of darkness in the center of the map, so he'll be able to avoid this Overlord and give him a few more seconds of having Soulkey have to guess whether this is Forge or Gateway. Remember last game, even though Soulkey didn't scout quickly at all, he ended up only building 2 lings. So if he only builds 2 lings here, it could backfire, but now the Overlord actually does spot the Zealot coming from the top side, and he's going to go towards that hatchery. And does he have enough DPS to actually kill this instantly? I think he might, actually.
I think he does because of the probe. The hatchery's HP is going slowly decreasing because of the Zealot and the probe DPS there. And now the second Zealot is also incoming. And Soulkey really needs to squeeze all of his larvae for more Zergling production in order to defend that hatchery. And that hatchery, once that second Zealot arrives, then that third hatchery is going to be somewhat unsafe. Okay, now he does buy some time.
Yeah, but with 2 Zealots attacking it, and with the Stutter Step micro and a third Zealot coming across the map, this hatchery could die, and he cannot lose that. That would really damper his build quite considerably. Now, that Zealot at the bottom side took a lot of damage, and actually Soulkey may be able to hold this, but it is 3 Zealots with the probe, but the probe's not helping, and that Zealot is so low, so close to dying. He desperately needs to hold this. You can see Bisu's microing his heart out. Obviously, Soulkey too. Zealot at the top dies. That's a full HP Zealot, but it gets surrounded, and it's going to die, and the bottom Zealot dies. I can't believe Soulkey actually held that.
Yeah, really close moment there for Soulkey to hold against the Zealot. And I think he has gotten the Zergling speed first instead of the lair attack on the way, because the gas doesn't seem going up really fast in my opinion. And there's absolutely no reason, yeah, of course there's no lair attack, and of course no reason for him to make additional Zergling once he figures out there's enough Zergling to hold off the Zealot pressure. And now he's gonna be knocking the door. Knock knock, open the door.
Well, he's going to try and knock down that door, and if he does, that's going to be a huge door. He's got a lot of lings, actually. He's continuing to build lings. I'm looking at his natural just now droning up,
God.
But this is off of something like 16 lings. That gateway's going to die, but the cannon does complete, and he is going to hold. In Bisu's main, I see a big building. He may have gotten his cybernetics up in time, so at least his tech is not going to be delayed, and that Zealot is just now going to show himself, and he's going to find some isolated drones.
Yeah, the O2 drones has to be respawned now. I mean, the Zergling is incoming. Drone does respawn on time. One hit away of that, picking up that one drone that holding up the mineral. Okay, now that Zergling got surrounded. Oh, now he can run away. He's gonna be looking for the one drone. Oh, misclicked that.
He wanted it, but not able to get off the killing blow. Meanwhile, Lair just now completes, but look at that Stargate timing. It's almost done, so Bisu's tech considerably farther ahead, and that is natural. He's got his gas too, so he's going into double gas quite quickly, going into a lot of gas. Last game we saw a pretty quick Citadel at 5 minutes, so I expect to see Citadel coming down pretty quickly also. Yep, it is already halfway, or almost halfway done, in fact.
Yeah, this is not looking not looking too great for Soulkey, because like I said, probably in other cast and other cast of the Zerg vs Prowess matchup, whenever the Stargate is 50% done, you must have the Spartak going up. But Stargate was complete, and Soulkey started the Spartak at the time. So now this is going to be somewhat not looking too great for Soulkey's position, and he needs to hide his Overlord as much as possible, and try not to lose the Overlord as much as possible. And we are seeing the second gateway is going up, and we saw the Siraba done earlier, so this is going to be a +1 with the 2-gate Zealot pressure later on.
Yep, and already 5 Zealots are complete for Bisu. This feels like a lot of Zealots already. Remember, he already lost 4 of them, so for him to have 5 already, and he's going to have, and Soulkey's going to have to deal with Corsairs, this is going to be a lot of pressure coming at him. I can see that the Corsair count has stopped at just 2 for now. Meanwhile, Soulkey, I see he's mining his nat gas. He doesn't really have an overwhelming amount or a crazy amount of gas right now, so I don't think it's going to be a muta-switch. But he may actually... Oh, okay, Scourge pop out in the nick of time. I thought maybe the Stairs could get a second Overlord.
Oh, I'm trying. Oh, okay, I just heard one of the Scourge connected to the Corsair. And Zealots are moving out already at the 7 minute 30 seconds, and those Zerglings trying to go for the backstep, but 2 cannons are up there. Gotta be careful. And I guess Bisu is going to be having that +1 weapon upgrade moment in the next couple seconds, I believe. And there's the one thing that Bisu needs to be very careful of, his Zealot movement. If he ever wastes those Zealot before the +1 kicks in, then it's such a great trade for Soulkey, because Zerglings are a very cheap unit, only cost like 25 mineral per each, and if you're trading off those Zealot before the +1 kicks in, then this is going to be a very good opening and holding off against the Zealot pressure.
Yeah, look at this Sims. Oh, there's a gap at the bottom, and it does. I don't think there's a gap at the top, so these Hydras with the Hydroden support are going to push that back. And I was looking at the Sim City at the 3rd base. Looks pretty slick for Soulkey there too. If he has to, he can drone drill and bug out the AI of the Zealots. So Bisu's not going to find an opening. He's still up 20 supply though. Instead, he's just going to have to be content with forcing a lot of Hydras out right now and just power up. That's going to be third and fourth gateway coming up, I think, for him.
Yeah, a lot of Hydra that's been made, and I don't see a 6 hatchery being going up, so all the Vespene gas and the mineral right now Soulkey is spending. I'm gonna be expecting this is going to be a 5 hatch Hydraless all-in with the +1 weapon upgrade timing, but I don't know whether this is going to be a great timing for him, because this is a crossbow matchup, and the crossbow matchup about 38 to depends on the map, but normally it's about 40 seconds rush distance for the crossbow in position, and that takes a long time to pressure the opponent with the 5 hatchery +1 weapon upgrade.
Yeah, and every second matters, obviously in all matchups, but especially PvZ, because you think about it, almost every second is an additional point of energy. So you could be on the brink of busting somebody, but if you're delayed 5 seconds, oh, this guy might have an additional storm that he shouldn't have. So we're going to have the move out here. Soulkey's got a ton of Hydras, just a crazy amount of Hydras, but it is only the 5 hatches like you said. So he's not going to have as many as he could, and also puts him kind of all in. We'll see if he can get a contain. Don't know if he has any lurkers. There's the first 2 Templars out. They only have 2 storms. Feels like Bisu could have had more Templars than this right now. I'm a bit surprised there's only 2.
Well, I guess Soulkey is just squeezing lots of Hydraless here, and then I guess he's trying to find out where the where the Zealots are, and +1 now just kicks in for Soulkey here. And Bisu, of course, he's a guy who's amazing with the Corsair micro, picking up another Overlord. Supply count is 120. I mean, Bisu is absolutely doing great. I mean, he's buying time with the Dark Templar. Okay, the Dark Templar gets picked up by the Corsair as well. And this number of Zealots needs to survive, and they gotta buy some time.
Yeah, and just like in the Snow series versus the Zerg that we saw earlier, I can't remember exactly who it was, these Zealots just running around and buying that time. Now the Templars almost have double storm available. They need about 25 more seconds, and those Stairs are racking up so many kills. It puts Soulkey in the red, and he is supply blocked while down 40 supply. This is so many Zealots. I don't even think he needs Storm to win this fight. I don't know if, okay, Soulkey does have +1 weapon. Okay, Hydra, that is way too many Hydras. The Storms are kind of a whiff, actually, and Soulkey may be able to hold this. And those Templars are so close to having a second Storm, but they don't have it just yet.
I think this is a bad moment here for Bisu. I mean, he does have enough energy, but he does not use the Storm at the last second, but oh my god, he's just transitioning into a Master Dragoon, so now he has to go back and make those expensive gas unit, High Templar, and also more Zealot production in order to tank those Hydraless shots. And now I just saw a couple of Lurker eggs there at the 3 o'clock there. Yeah, there are 2 Lurker eggs earlier, and Soulkey will be bringing those 2 Lurker and start gonna be doing the Lurker contain. And this is what I was talking about on the Vermeer. A lot of Zerg players like to do very aggressive playstyle in this map, because once you contain the opponent, of course Protoss will take forever to break it through and take the 3rd expansion. And but those Corsairs are doing such a great job, and now buying some time. Those larvae has to be used for Hydras, not the Overlord production.
Yeah, and Overlords are mega expensive. You definitely don't want to be building them. The Templar gets picked off. That's a pretty good storm. And actually, Bisu is going to push this back. Okay, maybe not. There's more Hydras streaming across the map. Only a single Lurker, though. It ends up getting picked off. And actually, that is going to be all Bisu needed to push this back. And now maybe he can take his 3rd base. But he lost all of his Templars, so he has no AoE. He may be feeling a bit nervous to take a 3rd base with no Storm. But nope, not the case. He plops down that Nexus. He killed so many Overlords that I think he knows that there's no way Soulkey can go for a follow-up punch. Well, maybe he can. That's a lot of Hydras being sent through the bottom side.
Well, normally you don't get to see this type of a game scenario, but maybe the key point where the usage of the Corsair was super amazing, that just constantly forcing Soulkey to make the additional Overlord when he does not really need to, and that probably stopped him and making more Lurker production, and also kind of delayed the Hydraless pressure at that point after Bisu lost all the Zealot with the 2 high temps earlier. And now another Hydraless wave are here to pressure the opponent, but we can see Soulkey once again, he got supply block somehow.
Yeah, look at Soulkey splitting up this army. Like, he's doing a really good job to, kind of split up the Protoss army. There was half the army was at the third base actually, and then half the army at the bottom side of that bridge and water area. And look at the Hydra's small attack at the top side, try and knock down this Nexus. Soulkey attacking from all angles, pushing with lurkers at the same time. But I think that the supply gap is just a little bit too much. Maybe not though. He's continuing to push with the Hydras. Don't see a single storm. I guess he spent all of them already. There's a storm, but it doesn't really connect that well. And he, again, is reset down to almost no Templars. But finally, the Zealots get on top of a lot of the Hydras. That's a good trade for Bisu right there.
The spectator showed us that Bisu just got the +2 armor upgrade, and that's the strong moment for Bisu to hold off against the Hydraless pressure. And looks like the Lurker contain and the Hydraless pressure is going to be getting stopped because the armor 2 goons are super duper strong and Hydraless cannot take it down.
Yeah, it feels like there's just not enough, just barely for Soulkey. If he had maybe 5 more Hydras or something, maybe he could have enough to push through. But Bisu with the killer macro and the killer upgrades kicking in, I think the supply gap is a little bit too much to overcome now, especially now that he has a third base. And there's no hive behind it, so this is just pure Lurker Hydra trying to bust through, continuing on just 6 hatches.
Yeah, this is completely not looking good because Soulkey was constantly getting the supply block. I mean, the one great job that Bisu is really doing well is whenever the engage is always happening, the coursers are always there and cutting off the Overlord. And those are another engagement going on, but Hydraless are not picking up the High Templar.
Yeah, he doesn't pick it off, but I'm not sure if it matters because the goons are just cleaning up everything. Supplies are still 40 in favor of Bisu. These goons just feel immortal. Like, you just don't see basically any of them die. I think only 2 died that entire fight. Meanwhile, Soulkey again loses his entire army. The Sares may get picked off here, but they've done their job. They killed something like at least, I would say, 5 to 8 Overlords. They just did an insane amount of damage. And again, Bisu is going to be moving out. And this time around, I think Soulkey can't continue to attack. I think he has to defend, but it just feels like there's too much.
Yeah, the number of Hydralists are just slowly getting weakened and weakened because there's no 7th hatchery or 8th hatchery for the 4th base. Soulkey is just constantly going for the pressure, but we know Bisu already has taken the 3rd expansion and 3rd gas access, and that means he can make more goon production and mass High Templar in the next the cycle of the gateway production here. And Protoss, the army, the death ball is slowly getting bigger and bigger. This is not looking great for Soulkey. Soulkey kind of wants to double attack from the both sides, like one at the left and one on the right side at the top, but things are just not working out well.
Well, Bisu's mined out in his main, his natural mined out. Soulkey has had a lot of drones for a long time, so I assume that his main and natural is going to dry out pretty soon. But for now, he does still have 3 bases running. Lurker doing a lot of work on the top side, but it's, again, a 50 supply lead. Again, another attack from Soulkey through the center of the map. But a Zealots are going to push this back. Bisu's done a really good job splitting his army, so has Soulkey, but it's just, Soulkey's just never killing enough. He's not able to push through completely, find an opening.
And every time whenever the fight happens, we can see Bisu's army count slowly getting bigger and bigger, but Soulkey's never passed that 3-digit number. He just constantly staying on that 2-digit number of the supply count, 90-ish only. And Bisu now here, I think this is going to be a kill move here. I guess he wants to crush Soulkey's army. That's such a nice storm on Hydralist, but does he have enough size storm?
He's just barely going to have enough size storm. Actually, Soulkey with this 80 to 90 supply is fighting extremely well. In fact, Bisu was upwards of 150 supply a moment ago, and now it's back down to 130. If Soulkey could just get another base and get more eco, I think he could come back in this game, but he just doesn't have the money. Look at his money. It's just consistently so low. Bisu's about to put down a 4th Nexus, but Hydras are coming across the top side of the map. I mean, Soulkey's done such a good job pulling Bisu out of position everywhere. Can he actually knock down this third base, though? This is a lot of Hydras. Oh, no, there's too many Templars.
Yeah.
Way too many Templars.
Those High Templar, I thought Soulkey was going to be busting that third expansion there, but I guess Bisu was definitely aware of it. He has left some of the High Templars at the third expansion and defending with the photon cannon and 3 High Templars, so I guess he does have lots of a gas bank, and we can see +2 weapon just now kicks in, and there's just too much of an upgrade advantage for Bisu to handle against Soulkey's army here.
Yeah, I don't think Soulkey has armor at all, so it's just a huge upgrade advantage in Bisu's favor. We've got another attack from Soulkey. He's desperate now. He knows he must kill this third base. He pops a Templar but loses 3 Hydras in return. It's just non-stop Hydras and Lurkers all day long. Eventually, Soulkey's going to run out of steam. I wish we could get a look at his natural. There we go. We see that the mineral patches are getting very low, so he needs another base.
Yeah, I guess Bisu seems he's not that confident to take the fourth expansion yet, because it's just Soulkey's just constantly doing the pressure here and there, and he does have that 3 High Templars. Will be holding off that third expansion. One of the High Templars dangerously low HP, used the Side Storm at the last second, buttering the bread on those Hydralisks. That's very nice, and we can see Coulter just constantly flying around left and right to check out whether there's a 4th base at the 1 o'clock side or a 4th base at the 6 o'clock side. Bisu is just doing such a great job here figuring out whether there's any other expansion.
Oh, finally be a good trade for Soulkey here. His Lurkers are moving into position, finally getting a good amount of damage with the Lurkers, but with the Archons and Zealots coming from the top again, Bisu just gonna stuff this so easily. There's so many Templars. There's like 6 Templars left over. Something that I've noticed the entire time is there's no Overlords in the fight, so the observers just haven't died the entire time, and that allows these Lurkers to get cleaned up every single fight. And with this Hydra and Lurker ball falling, the next attack is probably the last stand from Soulkey. Nope, actually he's gonna try and take another base, but he just doesn't have any more money.
Yeah, such a great hold for Bisu here. I mean, Soulkey, there was one chance that he could have probably eat up all those Bisu's army, but I guess Bisu just had another group of army at the top side with the Zealot Archer, where you mentioned, and I think this is going to be an over because Soulkey is dried out with his mineral expansion.
Yep, he's completely all in, no money at all. GG comes out, and Bisu's gonna strike back and tie up the series 1-1.
Of course, that was not sure what the purpose of Soulkey's playstyle there. I mean, it seemed like it was a 5 hatchery +1 Hydralisk all in, but I guess he wanted to place down the 6 hatchery and then try to do the macro game. But it seems a little bit off in my opinion, because if you were intending to go with 6 hatchery, why not just place it down in the early stage of the game and have the larva advantage, like the number of larva, and just constantly making more Hydralisks for the late game potential.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of how the early game went. Remember, he had the Zealot pressure in the beginning. He built a ton of Lings, and he busted a gateway. He didn't really get much in return for that. And then he lost a bunch of Overlords. So it could have just been the fact that he had to spend so much larva on the Lings and Overlords that he couldn't afford it. But regardless, he macroed like a god. I mean, he just had so many Hydras and Lurkers, and he did a really good job of pulling Bisu out of position so many times. The problem is Bisu just had like a 40 supply lead every single fight. I mean, look here. Bisu has a 50 supply lead. It's just so hard to overcome that type of deficit, but Soulkey fought great. Like, watch this fight at the end. Soulkey loses like 30 supply, but so does Bisu. I mean, it's like an even trade in terms of supply, and you would imagine Protoss should have steamrolled that. So, I mean, Soulkey fought extremely well. It's just too much of a gap the whole game.
Yeah, that army, that army was definitely did not synced up well for Soulkey, because some of the pieces reinforcement came from the left side, probably draw the attention away. And I think we are going into a commercial break, and the next map is going to be a Nemesis.
Yep, that should be exciting. I don't think we've seen PvZ on this map yet this season, have we?
We did Snow versus Queen, and Snow used the Reaper Zella playstyle there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Most of the games I think we saw this season had like a Terran. I remember the Mong Barracks game. I remember the Barracks Shine game, of course, with the 4 pool. But yeah, I forgot that we did have a PvZ, and we may actually see Reaver play because that natural and the way the map is laid out, having the semi-island base and small hallways, Reavers are gonna pack a punch anytime you can get into a small choke.
And Nemesis is one of the map yesterday I was playing the Pro League with Effort, Stork, Mong, Sharp, and Effort told me Nemesis, the natural expansion, and the main base, they're both of the same floor, so it's not a high ground. I thought it was a high ground natural, but it turns out to be a flat map, like how the map was designed, like a Sylphid. It's a completely flat, and the high ground where you can have is just the side where you can go to your island expansion, and that's something that I just recently figured out. And Stork also telling me PvZ on Nemesis, Protoss does have a somewhat advantage, I heard, because Zerg just has to go for the split map scenario. Just take another spawning location of the natural, and then the defensive style like how Larva does, and Soulkey has to do it.
Okay, well, I was not aware first off of the map layout being it all even ground, and then also it being Protoss advantage because to me, it seems like since we know that map is similar to blockchain, but you can actually come through the center of the map and attack the middle bases if you take out the egg. So it felt like potentially this could be a good Zerg map because Protoss is going to have to respect that, really, right? If they come through the center. But it is interesting to hear that Protoss players or Zerg players have to play split map style. I don't think we've seen Soulkey play that style, really. Every time we see, or at least most of the games we've seen in ASL from him has just been the Hydra Lurker like you were talking about. So I wonder how effective he is at actually playing the Larva style.
Yeah, Bisu, he showed a fantastic macro playstyle in the second game, so I'm excited to see how well he's going to be macroing in the game number 3, and we'll be coming back after the commercial break.
All right, we are back after that short break. Our third map. Oh,
다르다 어나더 레벨
got our
하스크와
ASL
함께하는
event.
ASL 시즌 14 8강 둘째 날의 경기 김태경
So this
선수와
is ASL Season 14 Ro.8 Match 2. We are watching Bisu versus Soulkey. Right now the score is 1-1. Game number 1, we have seen Bisu started off with the Forge expansion and Soulkey started off the Overpull. And he was teching up with the 2-hatch lair, 2-hatch gas into 3-hatchery and teching up into lair, but then he ended up cancelling the lair tech and then went for the Hydralus and then goes for the Hydralus buzz, and Bisu didn't, he wasn't able to hold off. And the second game, Soulkey was playing super aggressive style. Bisu managed to delay Soulkey's Zerg rush with the Corsair, constantly cutting off the Overlord, and pretty much slowly bought some time and take the third expansion. And we're also taking a look at this winner's prediction. Lots of fans has vote for Bisu's 57% and 43% for Soulkey. And there's also Africa TV Sports page. If you go to there and throw some gem and do the winner's prediction event, and you can exchange those gem with like a coffee, Starbucks coffee, or maybe something like a computer parts, like a graphics card if you guys want to get it. And we are going to the next game that is going to be played on Nemesis, Bisu versus Soulkey.
Yeah, so with the series tied 1-1, now we're all of a sudden in a best of 3 scenario. Nemesis, our third map. Sounded like it's a good Protoss map based on what you're telling me Stork says, and I haven't seen Soulkey do the split map scenario, so I want to see how effective he can do it. I mean, maybe if he's uncomfortable doing that, maybe we will just see another like fake lair into Hydra timing, try and just get the game over with before it gets into mid game.
Yeah, it looks like players are ready.
Okay, in the top left, tying up the score 1-1, it is Bisu, and in the top right, we do have Soulkey, and unfortunately his Overlord going the wrong direction, but we do have horizontal spawns, and with those eggs, this game could get wild real fast. If Soulkey goes for a type of bust and wants to go through the top side and the assimilators are still up, or if the assemblers are still up at mid left, because you can come through the center now on this map. So we may see an aggressive game from Soulkey, in my opinion.
Yeah, we are seeing Bisu finally moving out with the probe, about to place on the pylon. Of course, just like always at the natural, and lots of fans are here rooting for Bisu. Yeah, Bisu is in a team CW, Charwa University team, and lots of fans and his teammates are here rooting for his game. And Boyhe was there, I saw. Boyhe is one of the top female streamer who plays StarCraft. She can actually compete against Toast Girl, and she also won a recent ASL Lady ASL.
Dang, if she can go up versus Toss Girl, that's quite impressive, because Toss Girl has been by far the best female player since forever. So really, really impressive from Bohye there. And before this game started, I was thinking, I want to see a 12 Nexus. I want to see Bisu get greedy and go for a 12 Nexus here. But luckily for him, he did not go for that, because this is a 9-pool bead opener from Soulkey. So he really wants to bring it to Bisu from the get-go. And this is going to be hard to deal with because of so many openings out on the map.
Wait, this is my first time seeing Protoss doing the End Scout. And he's doing the End Scout. I mean, if he was just doing the rotation scouting pattern, then he won't be able to see that 9-pool was coming. And in order to defend the 9-pool, you must have to pull down the Forge at the natural to have that SimCity ready. And also, you have to be guessing, oh, does he have speed or does he not have speed? and you have to be deciding whether you want to put down the photon cannon or whatnot. But now, because of the end scout, this is so lucky for him.
Yeah, and with I think the probe got deep enough to see that there were. Oh, what? He lets it in! He let the Lings just run in! That is a huge mistake, and a lot of them get in. 3 are at the natural still, 3 are in the main, and speed's gonna kick in like 30 seconds. So this was a huge mistake. Now he's gonna try and save the natural with just 1 zealot. This is 5 Lings.
I like the moment where Soulkey is just constantly knocking the gateway. And one of the Zergling will be... Oh yeah, there's enough surface area, and one of the Zealot was about to get surrounded by those 3 probe just on time and protect that Zealot. And more Zerglings are coming. Soulkey does place down a hatchery. I guess a lot of Zerg players does not like this map, because we can see they're playing super aggressive and they just don't want to go into the late game potential.
Yeah, that's 4 Lings on the gateway too. So there's a lot of DPS there. He could potentially knock down that gate. If the gate falls, the game probably ends. And Soulkey's going to continue to all in here. He's building more and more Lings. Remember last game he built more and more Lings. It looks like this is going to be a more successful attack, though. He takes down 2 out of the 4 Zealots. All that remains is 2 Zealots and 2 probes. Desperately trying to get down the cannon is Bisu, but he just can never get it down. That Zealot almost gets surrounded. But really good control from Soulkey. Catches the top Zealot, catches the bottom Zealot.
Well, luckily he just got another Zergling, but it just gets surrounded once again. And this Zergling is just killing all the probe, and now Bisu, I don't know how he's going to be holding off. He just has to pull out more probe here. This is not looking too great.
It's gone. There it is. GG as soon as the gate falls, and what a heartbreaking way to die. But what amazing control from Soulkey there. He branched off 3 Lings. He kept constantly backstabbing with them. And then he catches, what was that, 3 Zealots out of position and just ends the game.
It was incredible to see how well Soulkey was microing his Zergling in the both sides. Hey, I have a couple of Lings at your main base, and a couple of Zergling will be knocking your gateway. Choose what to defend. Main base or defend your gateway. And that just... multitasking level was insane.
Yeah, it was really good Ling control. Just crazy Ling control, in fact. And Bisu, now he's on the ropes. He's down 2-1. And in both games that he's lost, it's been Soulkey playing hyper aggressive. So if I was him going to game 4, I would be really worried that I'm going to be hit with another aggressive attack, whether it's Hydras or, I guess, potentially could be another Ling attack. I mean, this Ling control was fantastic. Look at this. He kills the Zealot, and then he comes in at the same time and kills the cannon in the back. Just crazy.
A funny thing we have to know is Soulkey is the type of Zerg player who does not have that super fast APM. He constantly maintains that 300 APM most of the time, and that's his average APM, and he can do everything.
That just, as soon as he sees the Zealot isolated, instantly jumps on it and kills it. And now he is 1 game away from making it into the round of 4, where Royal is waiting him. And next map, I think, is Sylphid. But before we go into that game, we're going to take a break. I feel like we were just in a break. And this is going to be match point for Soulkey.
Yes, the Sylphid is chosen by... Soulkey, so I think he's going to be having a great shot.
Well, we are back, and we're about to get into Game 4, which is Soulkey's pick. It's going to be Sylphid, a comfort pick for both players, I'm sure, but he is one game away from eliminating the legend and moving into the round of 4, where he would be facing off versus Royal.
Yes, so the map is chosen by Soulkey, of course, one of the map in season 7, season 8, season 9, and Sylphid's one of the map was very popular. Most of the matchup was somewhat balanced, but I heard every time whenever the Zerg gets 12 o'clock location, they have insane amount of income incoming and with the low number of a worker count, and I wonder if Soulkey is going to be having that lockup position.
Yeah, and also if Protoss doesn't get that position, right, you were talking about cannon placement. If the cannons were at, if he was at top middle, he would have a better defense with the cannons, right, because they have longer range. So it's just an amazing spot for Zerg all around.
Right, and now players are ready here. I think we are going to the game number 4 momentarily, and yeah, here we go. Bisu versus Soulkey on Sylphid.
And in the bottom right are blue Protoss. It is Bisu. And in the bottom left are yellow Zerg. It is Soulkey. So I guess luckily for Bisu, Soulkey at least did not get top middle. But bottom right, those cannons, they're kind of going to be... Well, how do cannons fare on the right side? Or do they stack up well here? Can they defend Hydras well?
Well, I think they placed down the photon cannon like how I guess the map butter, how he was placing down the forge and the gateway earlier in the game number 1, and he's gonna be probably gonna be doing the same thing. The pylon on the all the way to the right side, and the forge on the left, and the gateway above the forge, and that will have him nice and city to hold off against the Zerging Rush in the early stage of the game. And we are seeing Soulkey starts off with the 9 pull here, and we have to be taking a look at here whether Bisu will be going for 9 gate. And I heard in this type of map on Sylphid, Protoss has to go for 9 gate instead of 10 gate because the Zergling, the rush distance from natural to the natural somewhat closer than what you expected, and additional second, having less seconds does matter to hold off against this 6ling in the early stage of the game.
Well, it is going to be the exact same build from Soulkey. We're going to have 9 pool speed again. Luckily for Bisu, there's only 2 spots to scout, so he will 100% spot this coming. Or he should spot this coming. I'm assuming the probe will get there in time, and he's going to have to be careful with his Zealot because this is a pretty open choke. Sylphid's well known for having kind of an open natural. And we already saw Soulkey pick him apart on Nemesis, so he's going to have to be careful with that Zealot and Probe control once again.
Yeah, the Overlord comes and now the Probe will be also checking out whether Soulkey has the natural or whatnot. And once he figures out, hey, you don't have a hatchery at the 2-minute mark, what's wrong with you? And this is going to be a... Okay, not sure about that pylon. Maybe he was not thinking of the 9 pull speed once again, but he does not know this is speed or whatnot. He has to be placing down forge immediately because whenever you're facing against 9 pull, you must have to place down the photon cannon. It does not matter if he has a metabolic wisdom upcoming or whatnot. Okay, there's a forge placement now being placed, and I think really behave. Yeah, that second matters to have that second zealot out on time. And now, how is he gonna be dealing this Zergling once again?
Oh my god, this is so rough. First off, there's a gap between the gateway and the forge at the top right there. And there's a gateway, obviously, between the wall and the forge. So there's 2 gaps there, and he has 3 lings in his natural. This is already a nightmare scenario. He's not pulling additional probes for this. Oh my god, he might lose that zealot already. Cannot lose zealots this easily.
Yeah, that Zergling 2 Zerglings will be somehow sneaking in, and other 6 Zergling will be just knocking the gateway. I guess he really... Oh, I didn't expect it of the photon cannon at the main base. I guess he just wants to focus on defending his natural more than defending his main base with the Pro Micro. And that forging of gateway between. There's a small gap up, but now the Zergling surrounds the photon cannon, and Zerglings are doing such a great job damaging those Zealot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there's enough lings, and there aren't enough lings. So that Zealot is very low health, but he has a buddy that's pretty high health. So actually, Bisu may have already held this. He obviously has cannon in his main, so he's going to be able to defend if lings get in there. Oh, that's a nice pick off there from Soulkey. Now it's 3 lings versus, it was just 1, but with the second one popping out, I think Bisu's done it. He has held, and we see that the lings have stopped flooding across the map. So Soulkey, oh, maybe not. I thought he was going to transition, but that's another round of lings. He's desperately trying to get something done here, but I don't think he can get anything done. I think Bisu's done it this time around.
Yeah, I really love that second pylon placement, because that kind of helps him out with not letting Soulkey to surround the photon cannon well. And he managed to finish that photon cannon on time now, so this is going to be Soulkey. He has to be stopped making the Zergling production and slowly making some drone, and then transitioning into a mid game here now.
Yeah, with Bisu, I don't think he lost a single probe. With Bisu not losing any probes really at all, he is in a fantastic spot. I realize Soulkey already has 2 hatches done. He's gonna have a 3rd hatch up and running pretty soon, but he's got to manage his larva to defend Zealot pressure now at the same time. So this is a really rough spot for him. I agree with that pilot. When I saw it went down, I was like, is that going to be as effective as he thinks it's going to be? And the answer is yes. It really saved him, I think, losing that cannon over and over and over. And now Bisu's in a prime position going into the mid game.
And that probe, wow, is just hiding under the tree really well. And I guess Bisu saw the Zerglings were there, but Soulkey doesn't able to get to see it. Maybe it wasn't spotted on the minimap, like the red dot. So that was a bit unfortunate for Soulkey to figure out where the probe is, and now he's probably thinking, oh, did probe go back home? And it didn't. He's just constantly scanning. Yeah, so Bisu just checks out the script. Oh, you have your 3rd expansion over there. Okay, I know what you're doing. So this is a standard opening.
Yep, exactly. He knows that this is just a normal opener, and the probe is going to come in right when the lings leave. This is so sad for Soulkey, because he's looking for it everywhere. He's like, I know it's out there somewhere. But the moment he leaves, probe comes in for a full scout and sees, first off, there's no lair, and there's no hydrogen. So Bisu's going to be feeling really confident going into the mid game, and he's going to move out with his first 5 or so Zealots.
Yeah, 5 Zealots are on the way, and that will force Soulkey to make more of a Zergling production, because we can see him. He does not have Hydroden yet, so that is going to be forced. Okay, there's a Hydroden at the 3rd expansion, so yeah, those additional Zergling production now he has made. He needs to eat up all those gateway. If he just let those gateway go back home, then Bisu is just going to be waiting until the +1 kicks in, and that number of a Zealot that just return back home, that will just become more powerful later on.
Yeah, I like Bisu's read here. He saw it was 4 hatch, no Hydroden, no lair anywhere. The gas was super late, so I mean, what else could it be other than an attempted Hydra bust? So you see him rushing 4 gateways. Citadel's already done, and he's going to be getting that speed. And I don't think Hydra timing will work here. If he's going to try and make it work, he needs to build like Hydras out of all of his hatcheries right now and just go for it. There is going to find a straggler overlord, and that's surprising. He is actually going to supply block Soulkey once that dies.
Yeah, those 4 gateway and making a couple of Corsair. I think he's just going to be stopped making the Corsair after 2 or 3 Corsair maximum. And we saw he does already have that 4 gateway production on the way, so this is going to be a mass Zealot production in the next round. And yeah, there's a 2nd Corsair now. So I guess he just doesn't wanna. He just doesn't wanna have that much of a Corsair here. But Soulkey, what can he really do?
Yeah, Bisu gets a full scout, sees that there's no lair anywhere, so this is just Ling Hydra versus a Protoss Zealot count that has not been dwindled down at all, with also 4 gates behind it. He's gonna have like 20 Zealots in one more cycle of his gateway production. That's crazy. Also, +1's probably kicking in just a second. Lings try to go for a counterattack, but they are pushed back by the double cannons and multiple Zealots. I think if Bisu attacks the third base, I think the game ends. I don't think the SimCity is that great there. But he will be able to drill with the drones. And okay, he does a decent SimCity, but there's no sunken.
Okay, the only 4 Hydralisk trying to... I guess he's just going to be focusing down on the Hydralisk then, but not sure about that. But I don't see the +1. Okay, +1 now kicks in, so that's a magic timing right now Bisu has. And Hydra then hasn't fallen yet, but drone drill, they're trying to do some more glitching the AI as much as possible, but somehow he managed to hold.
How crazy is that, SimCity? I saw no sunken, four Hydras. I thought for sure that base was gonna die. The Hydra didn't even die either. That was amazing, and Soulkey gets new life in this game because that was a lot of Zealots that Bisu lost right there. That was probably at least 12 Zealots that he ended up losing for not really many Hydras at all. Really great trade for Soulkey.
The Corsair once again doing the scout to figure out whether Soulkey has gone for the lair tech or whatnot. And yeah, I guess Bisu kind of has to switch over to Mass High Templar and maybe Gun production later on. But we are seeing him adding 4 more gateways, so I am going to be expecting this is going to be something like once again from game number 2 on Vermeer, where he was making lots of Zealot with the 2 High Templar, maybe timing attack once again, but that one group of Zealot, I think he's going to go for the assassination mode.
Yeah, he wants that Hydra. It's so low, he is going to get it, and that means that this third base could be breached. Will the Zealots back off? He knows the Hydras are en route to try and defend this location, and he is actually going to back off. But Soulkey has gotten within manageable supply. He's only down 30 now, 100 to 75. I mean, that's definitely playable. But we got to pause, actually. So something must be going wrong with Bisu's keyboard or mouse.
Yeah, something else going wrong with this computer. So staff will be coming up to Bisu and asking what's wrong. And maybe whether it is his equipment problem or his the studio's computer problem, they will figure out soon. And in that game number 4 on the Sylphid, I think that seems somewhat similar compared to game number 2 on Vermeer, where he was constantly doing the Zealot rotation and buying some time, and one Dark Templar was also staying in the middle of the map and pretty much holding off any of the Hydralisk moving out. And I think he's just kind of probably going to be doing the same play style. And I think, I think how I'm wondering how Soulkey's going to be handling against that build once again, because this time he doesn't have third gas. He's going to be having limited amount of gas to make Lurker and Hydralisk there.
Yeah, I also want to see how Soulkey transitions this, because it feels like his econ's probably similar other than the gas in terms of drone economy, but we've got a big drone cycle right there, at least 2 popping out. I'm sure more drones popped out of his second and third hatchery, but we've got another attack from Bisu, this time comboed with 2 Templars. But you know, until the final moments of the Vermeer game, the Storms were really not connecting that well. I mean, the dodges were amazing, kind of like that one right there. He is going to dodge sort of the first Storm, but the Zealots are chewing through everything now. Ooh. And what looked like a good dodge, all of a sudden, Soulkey's going to lose a lot of his Hydras. He does pop both Templars, though.
Yeah, those Zealots are doing such a great job here, and Soulkey managed to hold off this 2 High Templar with the massive amount of Zealot really well. And here are the Gun production on the way. Cybernetics core is already spinning now, so I guess Bisu is just gonna be playing safe here. He's just gonna be waiting for the death ball here, and I see 1 probe sending it towards the 3rd expansion, which is the mineral expansion. I guess he wants to have more mineral income than a gas expansion.
We do have, wow, a third base on location already for Bisu at 12 minutes. So he's feeling comfortable in his position right now. There's that single DT that you were talking about, racking up another Hydra kill. I don't see a fourth base anywhere from Soulkey. I don't even see a drone moving into position for a fourth base, but we do see the first few lurkers being morphed, but it's almost a 60 supply or 50 supply lead for Soulkey. He may be able to catch him before the lurkers complete. He has a couple of storms there. Oh my god. He's just barely in the darkness, man.
Oh my god. This is just too much of a flood. And there's no SimCity at the natural. Lurker does now finishes, but there are storms available. And yeah, I didn't know there's an observer as well. So observer gets picked up instantly. And now the army will be splitting them into half. And will Soulkey manage to hold up? The answer is I don't know. Some of the zealots will go for the backstab. Gunther buying some time, hitting against those. Okay, he's just targeting down the Hydra there once again.
He hates that building. He just wants to get rid of it. He's tired of dealing with those Hydralisks, and it instantly gets killed. And now Bisu's got a 40 supply lead with a ton of zealots and goons in the main. The drones have already been evacuated from the natural. Soulkey's trying to put down a fourth base to try and get that up and running. Because the Hydrogen died, I don't think he really has any production coming. The drones in the main have to be evacuated. The spawning pool is gonna be killed. And that means if the Hydrogen did not get put down, he's gonna have to wait for that to complete. I imagine he has put that down. Yeah, it's almost done, in fact. But Bisu's everywhere. He's attacking the fourth base now at the same time while his third base is up and running.
Yeah, the supply count is nearly the even, but never mind. Bisu just have that one cycle of a gateway production. Now he's just targeting down the evolution chamber. Hey, stop upgrading. I guess he just loves to target down the building as much as possible. But now drone drill, that was not a successful drone drill. But Bisu already has a great amount of army count here, and once again another death ball incoming. Oh, observer does survive. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, we've got a now 30 supply lead for Bisu, so it's slightly closer in terms of supply. I think Soulkey's got to get something done here, because with 3 bases running, Preuss is just going to start ballooning in supply in the next couple minutes. So he needs to get some kills, and he's going to get... he got like 2 Templars there, but he's going to lose his entire army. All the lurkers going to fall. The goons held strong. And he also lost that evolution chamber, so the +2 power spike is going to be a long ways away.
Yeah, both of the upgrade is 1-1 for Bisu and +1 for Soulkey. And I think I saw the Forge was spinning, so I'm going to be guessing the +2 armor should be kicking in next 1 or 2 minutes. And this is just too much.
Yep, it is. It is way too much, and that means Bisu, again, he's going to tie up the series. And it's going to be 2-2, which means we're now in a best-of-1 scenario. And we're going to be going into a best-of-1 on one of the new maps. It is going to be Odyssey. And didn't Soulkey say in the interview he didn't practice much on the last few maps because he was going to win 3-0?
Right, that's what he was saying. And I don't know, I find Odyssey somewhat more likely a product favorite in my opinion, because I've seen Shuttle taking down Gamo and Snow taking down Queen on Odyssey, so that's already 2-0 on the Odyssey map PvZ. So Soulkey is in a trouble position here, I would say.
Yeah, the Snow versus Queen game, I think it was. There were moments where I thought Queen was going to take it, but the Zealots just running around bought so much time, and we've seen Bisu do the same thing running around with his Zealots. So Soulkey's going to have something special here, because the other top Zergs did not have winning games on Odyssey. But if he can get a contain like Gamo tried to do, that proxy hatch, I mean, Soulkey loves to go for contains with Hydra Lurker. If he can get that up and running, that would be a killer position for him. We're getting a replay of this big attack from Bisu. I didn't think there was any world where Soulkey was going to clean this up at all, because the storms bottlenecked the Hydras from the right side. There were a lot of goons left over. There were so many zealots left over. But Soulkey actually did clean it up. Unfortunately, he was just way too behind from even the early stages of the game.
Yeah, those number of zealots just doing such a great work taking down the Hydra then most of the time, and Yeah, I mean, losing those important building, that delays the reinforcement for Soulkey to hold off for the next round, and that was somewhat unfortunate. I mean, 9 post speed, I guess he tried it 2 games, and it turns out to be even, 1-1. So not too bad, but I wonder if he's going to be doing it once again. 9 post build in game number 5.
It could get dicey. It's a 2-player map. We could see it. I have a feeling we're not going to since it's gonna get instantly scouted, but maybe that's what he's prepared. It is time for our final game of the series. We've got Odyssey as our 5th map. Remember, in the interviews, both players thought it was going to be a 3-0. I think they sandbagged saying that they didn't play this map often. You know, they're pros, right? They obviously practiced a lot. But I do want to see what both have come up with. Remember, we've got 2 gases in the main. This is Optimizer-esque. And we saw, was it Snow? He had so many high-tech units when we saw that PvZ between him and Queen.
Right, and he just had a non-stop high Templar production. Once he had the third base, that was total 4 gas. 4 gas high Templar is just crazy. It's just massive amount of high Tempers where you can make and just constantly do endless Upside Storm against the Hydraless Flood. And I wonder what Soulkey has for this game number 5, whether he's going to be playing defensive or whether he's going to be playing super aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think we've really seen him play defensive at all the entire series. He's always been attacking every single game, whether it's Hydras or Lings. Maybe this is the time for him to finally tone it down a bit and play a defensive game, but it is a 2-player map with a ton of gas. That could backfire. It's time to find out who's moving on into the round of 4. Is it Bisu or is it Soulkey? Right, in the top right are red Protoss. It is Bisu. And in the bottom left are blue Zerg. It is Soulkey. I would love to see a proxy hatch like Shine and then go for the lurker, jump over the wall. But I think that's just a one-time thing. I don't think we'll ever see that again on Odyssey.
Yeah, we can see for Bisu's fan and Bisu's teammates, CWU, and that's Zalot behind there, rooting for Soulkey. I'm also wondering, we know Zalot is one of the top amateur Zerg player who does play super aggressive and non-standard build order. And I wonder if Soulkey ever got the advice from him, like, hey, give me some idea, like how should I be played, like conceptual playstyle, and whether Soulkey will be borrowing Zalot's playstyle and try to make it into his own playstyle, mixing it up together.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what could be a conceptual build, because in Zerg vs. Terran, at least when Zealot plays, you know, he has the Mutamicro where he can just kill you with outright mutas. Now look at the probe. Is it hanging around for a second gate? Okay, no, it's not. Thought it might be hanging around for a second gate. But you also have the Lurker all in. I'm trying to think, I mean, what does Zerg have? Like, they could do like a Ling Lurker bust, right? And try and knock down cannons. But other than that, nothing really is coming to mind. I mean, other than mass mutas, but I don't know if that's a conceptual thing.
So 12 hatchery it is, and now drone comes out. We'll be immediately chasing that probe. And drone hits first, 2 hits already. So that's going to be a big victory for Soulkey.
Yep, and Bisu's really acting like he wants to cannon this, but we know that there's just a gateway for him, so no cannon rush possible. Pool coming in, and probe of course spots it. And really the question for me is how many zealots is it going to be before the Nexus? And there's the first one.
Yeah, that Zealot just pops out really fast here, and now it's already across the map already. And the first drone really needs to buy some time, and that seems like the Zealot seems like a 3 seconds faster than usual, because the Zealot usually pops out at 2 minutes 22 to 3 seconds, but it was much faster than that. So now we can see from the minimap, the Zealot is incoming, but I guess he doesn't want to buy time at all. I guess he seems comfortable defending against the Zealot.
Yeah, so it's 2 zealots and then the Nexus, and the drone is body blocking, trying to buy time. This, I think just the map layout makes this zealot get into your main so much faster. That drone's gotta be very careful, and it gets shot down. And that's a fantastic drone drill. He surrounds the zealot at the top side. Actually, the zealot really doesn't get much damage done other than a single drone kill. So that was really good defense, and he knocks down the probe again. So again, Bisu's going to be in the dark. But that third hatch, did it get canceled?
No, he didn't place
it. No,
he didn't place it down yet. Yeah, he was pretty much squeezing all up. Yeah, if he puts down the third hatchery, then he won't be have enough resource to make the Zergling production. So I guess that can be the reason why he was delaying that third hatchery as much as possible there. Because anyway, he had the 12 hatchery opening with the larva advantage, so why not just delay the third hatchery and make more Zergling to hold off the first two Zealot. And here are the 12 Zergling he made. That seems quite a lot than I was expected.
Yeah, this is a lot of lings, and the probe sees it. So again, Bisu knows that this is another attempt. I think there's more lings coming from the main. That's another round of lings. So this is a ton of lings just coming from Soulkey here. He gets good surround on the top zealots. The probes are not in the greatest position, but remember, these lings do not have speed. But he still gets in anyways. 3 of the zealots already died. Cannon gets knocked down. There's a battery here, which will help. But this is a lot of lings that just go into the main.
That's incredible. I did not know you can actually go for the counterattack after you pick up that first zealot nicely. Okay, now there's a drone cycle now he's making. So this is not a complete all-in. But the damage, the amount of damage that he has done is really fantastic.
Yeah, he even messes up the Sim City for Bisu at his natural now. Like, the shield battery blocks cannons. So if there's a Hydra bust, that could come into play. There's 4 lings into the main, which have already gotten a probe kill. May get an additional probe kill in a second. And he saved a lot of the lings on the backside. So there's like 8 lings to try and defend these three zealots going for a counterattack.
Yeah, that number of Zerglings are still out on the map, so I'm pretty sure he's definitely aware of that 3 zealot incoming from the top side. Yeah, he definitely knows about it. No, he doesn't know, I guess. Yeah, he didn't know it was there, but I guess he knew there are some of the zealots are outside of the map. But drone needs to survive. Okay, that's good.
Wow, that was so close to losing both those drones, but the lings get into a good position, and he should knock down all 3 of these zealots. And at the same time, he catches the probe, and he misses the Hydras if they were getting pumped out. So he's just done a fantastic job while also keeping the ling alive in the main. And we know that the 3-hatch Hydra bust is coming, and I saw only a single cannon at the natural.
Yes, Arjun is finally going up, and Stargate at the main as well. Gun somehow came out for some reason. I guess Bisu really loves to make the gun production, and the Zerglings are here surrounding the photon cannon. That's not what you want.
That is indeed not what you want. You don't want this either. Lings into the main at the same time. Bisu is falling apart, man, to the multitask of Soulkey. There's 7 lings in the main. He's drawn all of the units out of position. We've got Hydras moving across the map. I don't see a cannon. Okay, it's just now started. The second one, the first one's halfway done. But we've seen this before. Ling's gonna try and get on top of this cannon. That's really good probe defense. But the Hydras are here.
Yeah, that is not looking good. I mean, guns are not. I mean, without the gun range upgrade and no upgrade for the gun, Hydralist does have the advantage against those guns because the Hydralist does explosive damage and guns are a large unit, and he needs to buy some time in order to have that photon cannon up. Corsair is trying to take down the Overlord as much as possible there.
Oh my gosh, this Hydra control is crazy. There's so many Hydras that are low, they finally get picked off. The Goon getting the killing blow there. Ooh. And he did buy time to get those cannons up. And Bisu realizes that battery does not help him at all, so he kills it off. And actually, I think Bisu's going to hold here. I don't think Soulkey can do this. This, I feel like, is a mistake to trade 2 Hydras, 3 Hydras there for a single cannon. Corsair's going to come in and see, oh, hey, you're not powering at all. You're just building more Hydras, so he's just going to put down some more cannons.
I really love Bisu's intention there. You saw his first Corsair was just pretty much taking down the Overlord somewhere around his area, so he can actually get the DT out. I saw the Templar Archive was going up. Now he lost the gateway, so that means okay, +1 now kicks in. So this is gonna be looking great. Once he holds off, once he held that Hydralist flood, then with the +1 attack weapon completes, then this is going to be looking great for Bisu, I would say.
Well, he may hold, but I'm looking at that supply. This is a much better supply for Soulkey than it has been pretty much in any of the games so far. It's only a 5 supply lead for Bisu right now. And also, Soulkey's already scaling into a lot of hatches. He's got 5 coming down. That's 6 cannons that were built. But he needed them because Soulkey could pounce and kill him at any moment. But I actually like Soulkey's position quite a bit. He also has his lair coming too. So even though Bisu holds there and didn't lose much, I guess, I like how Soulkey's transitioning this game.
And we can see Bisu is working on that one probe behind expansion, taking down the photon cannon, the neutral building. I guess he wants to take an expansion later on. This is looking scary. I mean, 3 base with the 4 gas Protoss. That's a dream build.
Yeah. Well, this was actually going to be the first time we've seen a Protoss player even take that base. That base is defended by temples, but those temples can be knocked down, and you can't get to that position from your main. Like, there's a wall there. Oh man, the DT into the 3rd base is going to rack up 3, 4, 5, 6 drone kills. Finally, a DT from Bisu racks up so much damage. He's going to get 2 more Hydras too. So really good trade, and now this is definitely looking great for Bisu.
Bisu is just doing fantastic work here, and he does spotted the spire earlier, so I wonder if Bisu will be making more Corsair production. I mean, because you don't have any access of defending your 3rd expansion, your behind expansion, because only the air units can go through, and or you have to just load and unload with the shuttle most of the time to defend. So yeah, we are seeing him making more of a Corsair production from the Stargate, and there it is.
Yep, he even has a cannon going up in his main. He's got a cannon in his mineral line at his natural in case there are mutas. There's lurkers, and if Soulkey realizes that this 3rd base was taken, I think top middle instantly dies. If you looked at Bisu's unit count, it was like 2 Zealots and 2 Templars. That's the entirety of his army. Okay, I guess he also has 2 DTs, but that's it. He really doesn't have much of a standing army at all. So this could be a potential bust at top middle if Soulkey can find it.
Yeah, I think
What are those doing?
Yeah, I think those probes are pretty much glitched out because he wanted to transfer some of the probe like from the main base and from also from the natural, and he clicked the behind expansion, and the natural, the workers from the natural just didn't find the right padding and just had to go to that side, I suppose.
I think some Scourge spotted top middle. I think I saw a dead unit up there, but I'm not sure exactly. So maybe not. Maybe Soulkey is not aware that this base was taken. Robo is only halfway done, and lurkers are already set up. But he needs to do something about this 3rd base because it is pretty much a free kill in my opinion. And there's only 3 cannons for defense. That's it. There's a Dark Archon out actually.
First time seeing Bisu making Dark Archon. I mean, Bisu is the type of player who just relies on Corsair micro most of the time because he's one of the top Protoss, one of the top Corsair best micro user in StarCraft. So I thought he would be using Corsair, but I guess he wants to try out the Dark Archon.
Yeah. Maelstrom is fantastic when comboed with Storm. I mean, you don't even need Storm. Maelstrom just flat out a good spell in general. Doesn't last that long, but it holds everything in place. And we finally get to see Soulkey going into big macro, the 7 or 8 hatches, because he's got 2 more macro hatches coming up. And he is taking a 4th base. And supplies are very close right now, 106 to 104. Grades, I guess they're kind of even right now. We've got 1-1 for Protoss. I think we've got +1 weapon for Zerg. But Soulkey, he's just letting this 3rd base get up and running, man. He's just not doing anything about it. And now the Goons are coming out. And Goons comboed with Zealot Storm and Maelstrom? Oh my god, Protoss is just going to trade so well.
I'm also wondering what the purpose of Bisu here, because I'm checking out the supply count. Whenever the supply count is even for Zerg, this is definitely looking great, and we can see Soulkey also has 4 base running at 11 o'clock, so not sure how exactly the game is going to be going towards, but those Hydralisks are stacked, and he does see it. Is he going to be using the Side Storm? I think I would. Yeah, he does use it.
Man, Soulkey's got to think something's up, man, because first off, this is a 13-minute move out by Protoss. But also, did you notice those Zealots don't have any speed at all? You'd have to be thinking, where is the money going for Bisu? There's no way he didn't build any Zealots, right? There's no way he didn't get speed. He must be using it for something, but he's just content with allowing Bisu to take this third base. I mean, he still has 4 bases himself, but this felt like a big blunder from him. Supplies are still close though for Soulkey, 153 to 135, but Protoss on 4 gases and he's about to take mid right. That's gonna put him on 5 gases. Okay, I guess finally he realizes that this base was taken. He's going for a doom drop.
Yeah, Doom drop coming with the 6 wall alert, and none of the high temps are there ready. So I guess Bisu managed to have that some amount of gas, but this is just too much of a Hydralisk to hold up because it's already +1 Hydralisk weapon upgrade. And these Hydralisks will just go.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, that's a lot of Lurker and defending the base, but +2 armor just now kicks in. Observer needs to be protected by the Gun. 1 Observer, 2 second Observer did not fall.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of static D here. The Sunkens and the Lurkers. Damn, the Lurker field is huge. And actually, because it's a drop and not just opening the temples, it means that Soulkey can reload those Overlords, and all of a sudden the main could be break. Bisu's going to continue to push through here, but this is 8 hatch production. Lurkers are splashing almost all of the goons, and this is going to be denied, I think.
Quite not sure about that Dark Archon. It was not that useful. I guess he was expecting of the Muta switch, but there's no Muta switch whatsoever. Soulkey just made massive amount of Lurker with the 4 gas Zerg, and I don't think he has transitioned into Hive Tech yet, but he managed to hold off really well. He's still keeping up the supply count. 110, and there's another Doom Drop incoming to the main base. Does he have enough army? No.
He has no army. It's all out of position. He's going to pop the Nexus, potentially, and that would be huge because that's going to eliminate double gas. You could also pop the Templar Arc if you could pop the Forge, and I mean, Bisu still has a strong army, but this would be a huge loss for him. Meanwhile, Zerg is still on 4 bases. That's crazy. He's got 8 hatch production. Look at that Lurker morph right there, so that the Hydras can get maximum amount of damage. In fact, I don't think he's going to get the Nexus, but this drop did a ton of damage. I don't know if he saved any of those probes at the 3rd base either, so I wonder what Bisu's probe count actually is.
Yeah, I don't think he lost that much of a probe here, but those Lurker egg was pretty cute there, but High Temples does just penetrate everything of the armor. And now Soulkey is finally moving out. This is his 2nd time finally going offensive here. And he knows most of the army has returned to the main base, so he wants to go for the backstab. But Bisu's reaction timing was somewhat lacking here. And the number of Hydralisks and Lurkers is just too much. +2 Hydralisks or Lurker upgrade is just gonna be scratching into the straight line of those Zealot and High Templar.
Yeah, but the storms blanket all of the Lurkers, and they get cleaned up, and that means...
Oh
my god, there's a Lurker drop in the natural! The multitask is insane, I didn't even realize that!
Oh.
Those probes are clumping up! But he doesn't focus it, so he doesn't lose that many probes, but he did still lose something like 5 or 6. Actually, those Hydras did not get killed yet. They're killing probes at the 3rd base right now, and we actually have, for the first time, a supply lead for Soulkey. And look, it's just endless blue! There's units blocking or kind of bugging out for Bisu, and this is what I was waiting to see. Is he going to set up that big Lurker contain between the Nat and the 3rd base? And he is. There's no Observer here. That's all of his probes. If he can get 1 Lurker there, he would kill the entire economy of Bisu.
Yeah, I think this is dead. I mean, his main base is completely dried out anyway, and this 3rd expansion, there's lots of probes right here. I mean, that's more than a 1 group of probe at the 3rd expansion, and once you lose those probes, I mean, he has no power of a macro here. Bisu knows he lost the game.
Oh my gosh, GG comes out, and that means Soulkey, he's going to get through 3-2, taking down one of the biggest legends in all of StarCraft. He's going to be feeling great about that. He's overcome ZVZ. Now he's taking down one of the best Protoss in the scene, and now he's in the round of 4 for the first time in a really long time.
My personal question of that game number 5 would be, the other games when Soulkey was playing the Hydra build, we saw Bisu was playing the Mass Zala with the 2 High Templar playstyle with the like rotating and constantly buying some time with the speed lot. But not sure what made him to go for third base and just turtle up and giving lots of time for Zerg to recover.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I still think when he got the third base, as I was watching, I'm like, man, he's getting a lot of money. He's on 4 gas. Soulkey's not doing anything about it. We're about to have like 4 gas Protoss with Mass Goon, Mass Templar, with Maelstrom. You know, when you get into comps like that as Protoss, sometimes it feels helpless when you're Zerg. But Soulkey, the mastermind here with the drop, then he holds that big counterattack, and then he drops the main, and then he's just all over the place. And you can see why you don't want to let this guy macro, because he just exploded. He had 8 hatches. He was ahead of Bisu in supply, or even in supply for the majority of the game.
Yeah, if there's something that just comes into my mind would be, in general, whenever you're facing against Zerg, not just only for Protoss, also goes to the same, because Protoss and Terran, they have the same mechanism, and they just cannot let Zerg to non-stop drone, pumping out the drone, and Bisu just gave like Soulkey for about 7 to 8 minutes long after that Hydralisk rush, and Soulkey just recovered everything.
Yeah, we mentioned it. The first move out, literally the first move out, other than, you know, the DT harassment and the 5 zealots in the initial stages, was 13:30. That's way too long. Zerg's got everything set up, but Bisu decided that was the optimal play. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, and now we've got Soulkey moving on, and we've got an interview with him.
It is a long time for Soulkey that he hasn't made it into semifinal. 11 seasons long, and he's finally made it in. How do you feel? And congratulations. You were able to take down Bisu, playing all those 5 games of this best of 5. How do you feel? It's been a long time that he made it into semifinal. He can't really feel this is true and real for him. He only thinks that he wants to show great games for his fans and audience. And those are the NSU fans, or NSU teammates, and some other fans are rooting for Soulkey. There's some moments that you were able to finish the game, but you weren't able to finish the game because Bisu managed to hold off against your Zergling and Hydralisk Flood. And both of the players, you and Bisu, decided to go for turtle and drone drill a lot, pumping out lots of drones. And what made you to play this type of playstyle on last game? And Soulkey is saying that it was somewhat expected for him to know that Bisu will be making the Dark Archon after showing the Spartak at the natural, so he decided not to make the Muta. And the main point of this playstyle on Odyssey was to drop because he kind of expected him taking an expansion because there's no pressure at all. What made you to play offensive so much today? And Soulkey is answering, Nemesis is one of the map that he really hates to play. And he just kind of wanted to play something aggressive today, and just things are just working out really well for him. He's just constantly doing that playstyle, keeping up his playstyle, and just worked out well. Most of the time in the previous seasons, you always getting knocked out and not winning the best of 5 series, and now you made it into semifinal. Your opponent is going to be Royal. How do you feel? Okay, so Soulkey is saying that he's gonna be feeling comfortable play of the semifinal, and he thinks Royal is not a strong Terran. He does not agree.
인정하겠습니다.
So you're saying you're not agreeing that he's one of the top 10 really playing really well recently. He has 10 winning streak. Oh, does he have 10 winning streak? Okay, I'll admit that's what he said. He will agree how strong he is.
다시 돌입을 하셔야 될 것 같아요. 자, 그동안 또 팬분들은 경기를 기다리고 계실 텐데.
So lots of fans probably waited for you to make it into semi-final.
오프라인 무대에서
Any last
그런
word?
데서 좀 좋은 모습을 보여드린 적이 없어가지고 오늘을 계기로
Most of the time, whenever he plays best of 5 series, he always loses. So
아, 그렇죠. 네.
테란전 제가 4강에서
he probably felt something sorry for
선수가 결승에
his
올라가게
fans,
된다면 정말 많은
now
분들이 또 현장을 찾아주실 것 같다는 생각이 들어요.
he wants to have the audience to have some high expectation because his best matchup or his one of the Zerg who's really good at against Terran matchup, insanely good at ZBT.
항상 감사드리고요.
So
오늘 또
he wants to make it into the final stage.
그리고
He wants to say thanks to the
NSU
NSU, the chairman, and NSU teammates and the leader watching his ASL games.
준비 잘 하도록 하겠습니다.
He will try his best to prepare for this
오랜만에 4강에서
semi-final.
모습을 볼 수 있게 된 김민철 선수 멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다.
And thank you for rooting me and
감사합니다.
congratulations making it into semi-final, and we'll see you next
자,
time.
이렇게 해서 이번 시즌 두 번째 4강 진출자
Yep, well done from Soulkey. It is funny to hear him think that Royal's not a strong Terran because as a Terran player, when you think of strong Terrans, Royal's one of the first people you think of. So I am excited to see him face off there. We get a rundown of how today went. It went back and forth right from the get-go. Over to Soulkey, then to Bisu, back to Soulkey, back to Bisu, and then Soulkey getting the game win, or the series win on Odyssey. And he takes the series 3-2. I think Bisu played quite well, but just a little bit too much Soulkey today. And this sets us up for the Royal Soulkey semifinals. Who do you like here, Scan? I know you're Terran, so you want Royal to win, but do you think Royal's an actual favorite versus Soulkey?
Well, semi-final it is going to be a best of 7, so we are going to get to see all the maps for sure. So I'm excited to see what kind of playstyle Royal will be pulling out, and Soulkey was pretty much provoking Royal there. And Royal is the type of player. His playstyle is very unique, I would say. I mean, he does play standard, but sometimes he just do the mind game. Hey, I'm going proxy ARAX into 1-1-1. Hey, I'm going proxy ARAX, but this is 8 factory like how he did against Hero. Or, hey, I'm going factory expansion into 2 starport and making lots of wraith and then to harass you. He just does lots of crazy build.
Yeah, he's got all types of styles, and since it's best of 7, that means we're likely to get an Arkanoid game unless somebody wins the series very fast. Our next week matchups, as you can see, is going to be Light versus Rush. That's going to be an exciting TVT. I know a lot of people don't like TVT, but when you ever have really good TVT players, TVT is always really good. It's always positional. People are non-stop moving across the map. We had fantastic TVTs already. Remember the Butter games, Sharp and Royal, I think. That was really, really close. And then in our bottom match, we have Snow versus Hero. Hero always does well in ASL. Always does fantastic. But he's going up against Snow, who has turned on the juice this season. I mean, he's won almost every game, I think, versus Zerg. And he's looking fantastic. Actually, you know what, Scan? Snow is my pick to go the distance this season. I think if he can beat Hero, I don't think there's a Terran that can beat him. I don't. I think he'll beat whoever comes out of the Light Rush series, and then I think he'll make it to the finals.
Well, if Snow makes it into the final, I would like to see Royal versus Snow because I've seen Royal's Ultimate Battle event that he was winning like 3 or 4 times in a row, and he was beating lots of strong players, and he ended up losing to Snow 5-4 there on the Ultimate Battle, the total 9-game series, and the score is quite close. So I want to see the match once again of this best of 7 on the ASL stage.
I wasn't aware that there was a recent Into the World battle between Royal and Snow, so I'll have to check that out after the cast. I mean, he's got the fantastic carrier micro. I think there's a real shot for him to go the whole way, but we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because, of course, he has to go through Hero, who has done well. I think like the past 4 or 5 seasons now. Like, didn't he get back-to-back top 4s the past 2 seasons? I actually have to check.
And they're both pretty strong, and I wonder. I mean, we have seen Rush versus Hero and Light versus Hero, so for the next round of 8, I would like to see Rush make it into semifinal, taking down Light, and Snow taking down Hero, because we haven't gotten to see Rush versus Snow on an ASL stage at all. We have seen all the other matchup, like Light versus Snow, we have seen it. Light versus Hero, we have seen it. Rushes versus Hero, we have seen it. But Rush versus Snow, we haven't at all. So I would like to see how well Rush will be playing against Snow in an ASL performance.
I think in one of the highlight clips of ASL, people were talking, or no, actually, I was watching the translated group selection, and that's on Artosis, or the Africa channel with Artosis, the Artosis cast, and the pros were saying that Rush is just on a next level in TVP. So that could be an exciting matchup, because Snow, I mean, this guy, if you ever let him get a slight lead, he gets the Reaver out. That's unkillable. He gets the carriers out. That's unkillable. That could definitely be an exciting matchup. But that would kind of give us potentially TVP the whole way. So, I don't know. I would like to also see Azur go deep, especially Soulkey, since he hasn't done well in the past few seasons. But looks like that's it for us. We are going to be coming back next week with Light. Oh, maybe not. Caster Park waiting for the signal again. Okay, I think we are wrapping up now. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week with Light versus Rush and Snow versus Hero. See you there.